Good morning. We are going to talk about war, especially ISIS. To start with, we will show a video of Syrians. Europe experienced the hugest influx of refugees in 2015 because Syria has become the world's top source of refugees. You will be clearer after watch the video what's happened in Europe. Then, we will mention our opinion, what do we think to watch the video. Finally, we will summarize our presentation.
After World War I, the French and the British established the borders of the Middle Eastern countries, grouping many religions and ethnic groups in the same territories. One of them, the Muslim sect of the Alawites, has been in command of Syria since the 70s, despite representing only 12% of the population. Under the ideology of keeping the country out of the hands of extremists, the Assads heavily favored their sect and crushed those who challenged them.
A third of the Syrian people have been displaced within Syria, while over 4 million have fled the country. The vast majority of them reside now in camps in the neighboring countries who are taking care of 95% of the refugees, while the Arab states of the Persian Gulf together have accepted 0 Syrian refugees, which has been called especially shameful by Amnesty International. The UN and the World Food Programme were not prepared for a refugee crisis on this scale. As a result, many refugee camps are crowded and undersupplied, subjecting people to cold, hunger and disease. The Syrians lost hope that their situation will be getting better anytime soon, so many decided to seek asylum in Europe. Between 2007 and 2014, the European Union had invested about €2 billion into fences, high-tech security technology and border patrols, but not a lot in preparation for an influx of refugees. So it was badly prepared for the storm of asylum seekers. In the EU, a refugee has to stay in the state they arrived in first, which put enormous pressure on the border states that were already in trouble. Greece, in the midst of an economic crisis on the scale of the Great Depression, was not able to take care of so many people at once, leading to terrible scenes of desperate, hungry people on islands usually reserved for tourists. The world needed to come together and act as a united front, but instead it has become more divided. Many states downright refused to take in any refugees, leaving the border states alone in their struggle. Germany announced that it will, without exception, accept all Syrian refugees and is now preparing to take in 800,000 people in 2015. More than the entire EU took in 2014, only to impose temporary border controls a few days later and demand an EU-wide solution. All over the West, more and more people are beginning to take action, although support for asylum seekers has mostly come from citizens, not from politicians.
كان في أخواتي وأنا والبابا والماما هن بسوريا بخاف يموتوا لا سمح الله. أنا شفت صاروخ يوم قام ينزل جيت هيك السبب هيك.
We didn't care about Syrian civil war before because Syria located in far from Japan. However, we were really shocked when news said that a dead boy from Syria found lying face down on the beach in Turkey. This news was rapidly spread all over the country, and then people were started to think about a solution to refugees. Can you imagine when your family or friends are fighting and people are dying? One of the boys said used to see the rockets coming out of the plane. We were also shocked. We never afraid of playing. We don't let the children feel fear and sadness. It is difficult to find a reasonable solution. Of course, the best solution is to stop the war and crimes in Syria. This is impossible in this situation. The best solution at now is only to accept refugees. In conclusion, Syria is located in Middle East. It has been led by Assad family. The Syrian civil war is a conflict between forces of the government and forces who want to remove this government. The Assad refused to stop down and started brutal civil war. Europe experienced the hugest influx of refugees last year.
because Syria has become the world's top sources of refugees. Many Syrian refugees reside now in camps in the neighboring countries.
The UNHCR and the World Food Programme are not enough to prepare for refugee crisis. As a result, many refugee camps are crowded and undersupplied. By accepting them into our countries, integrating them into our societies, some of them think that Muslim equals dangerous. This is totally misunderstanding. The fear refugees lead to higher crime rates also turn out to be wrong. Let's do things right and try to be the best we possible can be. Thank you.
Thank you.